Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Tokyo Necro. I was actually at the title screen for the game, and it was a pretty cool title screen, but I still have no idea where you actually save the game. I'm trying to find it right now, but doesn't seem like I can find it. This doesn't seem to have anything for, saving. Updating memory. Does that save the game? No, that's a quick save. I was pressing S on my keyboard. But alright. I guess without further ado, let's just start. This is the next day, by the way.
今日午後7時過ぎ、新宿区歌舞伎町の宿泊施設エンドレスサマーで大量のリビングデッドが発生し、ネクロマンサーとリビングデッドストーカーの銃撃戦となりました。
I was gonna do like a recap of the previous episode, but I guess this newscaster girl is gonna recap for me.
軍警察の発表によりますと、犯人は住所不定無職の中国籍の男とみられており、ネクロマンシーによってホテルの従業員ほか多数がリビングデッド化されたとのことです。
I kill some time in the military police headquarters waiting room. The former Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, 50 floors, the attached military police hospital is 36 floors. Constructed using ultra-structural principles, said to be able to withstand even a direct strike from a cruise missile. The hollow display projected onto the wall just so happens to be playing news detailing the results of our little escapade. The division's equipped with a mesh jammer, a device that blocks usage of the mesh network. As the mesh network is highly redundant, specialized and unwieldy equipment is necessary to interfere with it. As such, mesh jamming can generally only be performed inside of buildings containing this equipment. That's always on, so I can't connect my Connery to the network. Man, this is the second episode and they're already throwing so many terms at you already again. I guess the first couple of episodes are going to be like this. A wearable information appliance in the form of a ring, used for a wide variety of purposes. A selection of its primary usage cases follows. Expedient data entry using the multi-flick input method, flexible data output via holographs and cartilage conduction, robust security protocols incorporating biometrics, data storage utilizing internal micro holocubes, wide-scale information exchange using individual connect rings as nodes, the mesh network. Okay. I don't think I will remember most of that, but hopefully I will. It's a total sausage fest here. No cuties for me to hit on, so I'm stuck watching the news, bored out of my mind.
なお、副都知事の居場所は依然判明しておらず、軍警察ではさらなる取り調べを進めるとのことです。
And by investigating further, she means they're about to grill me. Things did get a little wild in the middle of town, so I can see why the fuzz would want a piece of me. Wait, they changed back my text box to standard. Didn't want that. There we go. Yeah. They finally call my name. I head over to the interrogation room with a spring in my step. The interrogation room's as dreadful as ever. I take a seat at the desk. Sitting on the other side is Major Aso Kiriri, a major belonging to the Living Dead Countermeasures Division of the Organized Crime Department within the Public Order Bureau of the Military Police, taken in by Kibanohara Hokoyasu at a young age, a dependable sister figure for Ethika. She cuts an imposing figure, military police uniform counterbalancing her feminine features.
早速ですが、取り調べに入ります。
挨拶もなし、ちょっと冷たくない？
職務中ですから。
ああ、でもずっと待ってたんだよ、キリね。
I feel like this view is kind of like a fisheye view, if you guys notice. Because the edges of the view seems to be a bit rounded there. Kind of like what you see on a GoPro or something. Kiri sighs in resignation, visibly loosening up. To me, she's less a major Aso Kiriri and more just simply Kiri. She's a childhood friend, practically my older sister really. After Kiri's mom died in an accident, my family took custody of her, so we lived together in the same house for years growing up. We know each other very well, to say the least.
エチカちゃんは退屈が嫌いだものね。
違う。嫌いじゃなくて大嫌い。
それじゃあ取り調べも嫌いかな。
嫌い。でもキリネートなら大歓迎だよ。
それじゃ早速始めましょう。
Kiri clears her throat. And just like that, she switches into business mode. Okay, let's see what we gotta do. I'm not that irresponsible, you know.
ネクロマンサーを確保、あるいは殺害するのがあなたたちリビングデッドストーカーの仕事です。タンユンシャンの殺害、並びにリビングデッドの再殺は問題ありません。エンドレスサマーの損壊が少し気になるけど。
不可抗力の範囲じゃない？
What the hell is Major?
向こうは重武装型まで突っ込んできてたんだよ。しかもあの程度のビルに2体。ホットパイプに傷もついてない。あの程度で済んでむしろ上出来でしょ。
なるほど。確かにそうかもしれません。では次に副都知事について。
Right. Our top priority of this little raid was to find that pervy old bastard.
リビングデッドの中に副都知事らしき人物は？
少なくとも私が相手した中にはいなかったよ。
間違いありませんね。
少なくともエクスブレインはそう言ってた。
Not that I trust the damn thing all that much.
では副都知事はどこに？
さあね、死人に口なし。生きてたらタンユンシャンに聞けたのかもしれないけどさ。
Necromancers are incredibly dangerous. When we track them down, we take them dead or alive.
タンユンシャンってさ、偽装技術もそこそこ高かったんでしょ？副都知事をそのまま日常に戻せばいろいろ悪巧みできたんじゃない？でもタンユンシャンはそれをしなかった。
Yeah, I feel like he's kinda doing things in a weird way. Even with the fight in Seon, or you know, when he was fighting Seon, I feel like he could have killed Seon quite easily.
その通りです。
身代金要求もないんじゃ。何したいんだかさっぱり。
Yeah, very weird. We don't know his motivations.
政治的にも重要な人物じゃなかったって聞くけど。
Apparently, he was chosen to be vice governor precisely because he's incompetent.
私は評価する立場にありません。
でもさ、もっぱらの噂だよ。副都知事はセクサロイド狂いの変態で、プレイのたびに機械の体を壊して喜んでたって。
I don't think I even need to know what this is, or you know, need to click what to know what this is. A humanoid operating machine designed for sexual congress with humans. In Tokyo, they are mostly found within the walls of the fortress.
法に触れない個人の趣味をとやかく言う立場にありません。
私は正直、そんなクソ野郎はリビングデッドになって性欲消えちまった方がマシなんじゃないかなと思うけど。しかもザ・フォートレスからの帰りだったっていうじゃない。因果応報って感じ。
A facility near the old Odaiba area owned by renowned entrepreneur Amachi Juichiro, repurposed from a landfill mine. An Amachi Robotic Industries factory is located beneath ground. Above ground is what is rumored to be a sextroid whorehouse, catering to VIPs. Interesting. Surrounded on all sides by smart material, from a distance, these white walls resemble those of a castle's.
法は法。私は法治都市東京を守る軍警察の一員です。軍警察のメンツをかけて正義を執行します。
ああ、本当に真面目だね。
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm straight up swooning over here.
ああ、ねえねえキリね。近いうち久しぶりに2人でご飯でも食べようよ。
ご飯？
Kiri's expression softens once more.
楽しいよ。なんて言ったってエチカちゃんのスマートなエスコート付き。
気持ちは嬉しいけど。
だからさキリね、たまにはゆっくり羽伸ばそう。
大丈夫だよ。ちゃんと家に帰って寝てるから。
それは羽伸ばすって言わない。
Kiri's got a stronger sense of justice than most, so she often pushes herself way too hard. Take the current situation. It's not like there was any particular reason she needed to be the one to interrogate me personally. Can't say I'm not happy about it though.
とまあ、取り調べはこんなとこかな。
そうね。聞きたいことは大体。
オッケー。それじゃあスケジュール確認してご飯誘うから。予定絶対開けてよね。
はいはい。
絶対だよ。
わかったわかった。
Okay, that settles that. I guess I should head on out now. I should head on out. Damn it, sometimes my lips move before I just read what the hell is on the text box. Wouldn't want to get in the way of her work.
またねキリね。
As soon as I get out of my seat, I hear a loud sound coming from the wall. Someone's getting interrogated in the next room over, and I'm pretty sure the one questioning him is Kazuma, Nagisa Kazuma, a female captain of the military police. A captain belonging to the Living Dead Countermeasures Division of the Organized Crime Department within the Public Order Bureau of the military police. Man, that is such a mouthful. Close friends with Asa Kiriri since their time together at the Higashi Nakano Military Police Academy.
絞られてんのかな。
そうみたいね。
Her boobs look a lot bigger in that like CG.
渚対ちょっと頑張りすぎちゃうのよね。
どうか。
Kiri and Kazuma were in the same graduating class in Higashi Nakano Military Police Academy, so she knows her pretty well. A training facility in Higashi Nakano designed to produce elite military police officers, accepts anyone at least 13 years of age. They produce elite from nothing? They don't have any criterias? That's insane. Both Aso Kiriri and Nagisa Kazuma graduated from here. Kazuma's too uptight for her own good. She's a pushover once you stop trying to play by her rules. Not that I expect our dear Soen to do anything but... I guess anything but. There we go. Kiri clears her throat as I'm walking toward the door.
ねえ、ちかちゃん。タイユンシャンが逃げ出したとき、車に誰か乗ってなかった？
車に？わかんないや。
Wait, did Soen lie? I lied through my teeth, not even turning to face her. Sorry, Kiri. Oh, Etika is also lying. But I don't think I'm the only one keeping secrets here. I guess that's Kazuma.
隠し事をする気か。
Her voice sounds very typical tsundere girl. Captain Nagisa grabs me by the hair and slams my head against the wall.
いいか、自分の立場をわきまえろ。
As one might expect from a Living Dead stalker, I have a high tolerance for pain. This is nothing I can't bear. But if I don't give her some sort of reaction, Captain Nagisa won't be satisfied. So I stagger on purpose.
隠し事なんて何も。
軍警察をなめるな。
Captain Nagisa grabs my head again and slams it on the desk. Obviously, she knows that I'm injured from my life and death struggle against Tang Yunchan. And yet, she has no qualms with treating me like this. Violence of this sort is just typical Tokyo military police procedure. To be fair, I suppose you can't protect the city's public order without overstepping your boundaries here and there. If you think about it that way, the way Captain Nagisa acts tough in spite of her slight stature is really quite admirable.
笑ったな。
Man, you're such a jerk, Son.
現場はソリッドスキャンもしてあるんだ。
An ultra-high-definition 3D scan performed using a specialized solid scanner, used in situations where fidelity is paramount, such as preserving crime scenes.
我々が余計な足跡を見逃す薄のろだと思うのか。
That one actually hurt a little. But what hurts more are Captain Nagisa's words. Extra footprints. Does she mean?
顔つきが変わったな。よし。それじゃあ今日は徹底的に。
Captain Nagisa's quandary lights up in the middle of her sentence. She glances at the hologram with a scowl on her face, perturbed by the interruption. As soon as she sees who it is, though, she stands at attention. I guess this is basically just a cell phone, right? A super high-tech cell phone. Major General Kibanohara. Kibanohara Hokuyasu. Major General in the Tokyo Military Police. Head of the Public Order Bureau. Father to Kibanohara Ethica. Oh! Ethica's father. Originally the leader of the Close Quarters Armed Martial Arts Training Unit, where he contributed greatly to both the development of the X-Brain and refinement of CQ-AMA as a fighting style. Said to wear an iron mask, as his face never betrays even the slightest hint of emotion. The father of Kibanohara Ethica, who's currently being investigated in the next room over. It's a bit ironic that a free-spirited rebel like Ethica is the daughter of someone like Major General Kibanohara, leader of the military police. He's the very picture of authority. Perhaps her father's station is what led her to develop such a rebellious personality in the first place. Her pompous attitude suddenly gone, Captain Nagisa gives the thin air a bow as she hangs up. If there's one thing she's weak to, it's her superiors. I can't help but express my surprise. I was expecting this to go on for at least another 20 minutes. I certainly won't complain about the interrogation being cut short. I leave the room as directed. Once I'm out of the range of the mesh jammer, my connery automatically connects to the network. The military police may commit acts of brutality, but they wouldn't commit a human rights violation like stealing someone's connect ring. I check Ethica's location with a multi-flick. A highly efficient method of input utilizing connect ring technology to detect and process hand gestures performed with all 10 fingers. It is also possible for conneries to project virtual keyboards for me for more traditional input. Yeah, this is basically a high-tech smartphone. With how quickly my interrogation ended, I figured I'd be out first. From what I could tell, they kept Etika waiting for quite some time. Surprisingly, however, it seems that is not the case. The two of us are co-workers at the Kara Suzumi Living Dead Stalker Agency. A private special living dead stalker agency located in Shinjuku Nichome, led by Kara Suzumi Ryoko. Nagaoka Son, Kibanohara Ethica, and Ichihara Tokitaka all belong to this agency, often considered Tokyo's premier living dead stalker agency. It's close enough that we don't need to leave together, but it looks like Ethica waited for me anyway. Incidentally, Tokitaka managed to get away before the military police charged in. You could say that's one perk of being a sniper.
Kisama.
Is this not the same girl? Without warning, a woman comes swinging at me with the hilt of her sword, and I narrowly manage to evade it.
貴様、単優者をやったのか。
近いよ、三つみ。
答えろ、単を。
ああ、僕が倒した。
This is Gijo Mitsumi, a living dead stalker belonging to the Gijo Living Dead Stalker Agency. Can be considered a rival of Son and his comrades, frightful to a fault, with a somewhat abrasive demeanor. practitioner of the advanced Taisha school. Her ultrasonic vibro katana cinders all in its path. Brandishing her cherished ultrasonic vibro katana, Soshimaru. Why would you name your fucking weapons, man? This game is so weeb. Gijo Mitsumi's ultrasonic vibro katana vibrates roughly 30,000 times per second, greatly enhancing its cutting ability. The product of a nigh legendary blacksmith program, forged by a robot arm using ultra-pure iron pressurized to the limit. Then again, I guess Etika also named her chainsaw rabbit punch or something, right? I hope she doesn't intend to draw the blade. She's an experienced Living Dead stalker who belongs to the Gijo Living Dead Stalker Agency. The agency Gijo Mitsumi belongs to, a rival of sorts for the Kara Suzumi Living Dead Stalker Agency. There's something of a rival agency to us, as we're constantly competing to see who can take down necromancers first. Judging by her threatening attitude, she must have been after Tang Yunshan too.
悪いね。でも、これも僕の仕事だから。
いい気になっているがいい。どうせまだ事件は終わらない。
どういう意味？
副都知事は見つかっていない。
I just realized, why is she wearing like those weird cat ear, like headphones? I don't think those are headphones. I don't know, like a headwear.
次のネクロマンサーは私がいただく。
But is there a next one? It's certainly possible he wasn't working alone. But it's not like Mitsumi to make firm declaration based on possibilities alone.
何か複数犯の証拠が？
いや、そういうわけではないが。
Mitsumi is nothing if not honest.
とにかく副都知事が見つかるのを楽しみにしているんだな。
Yeah, I'm paying attention to the boobs again, and they're a lot bigger on the CG compared to the sprites. And with that declaration, Mitsumi turns back to me. Turns her back to me.
三海、
なんだ？
腕を上げたね。使って一瞬見えなかったよ。
Mitsumi turns her face away and quickly walks away. I'm still unsure of the best way to interact with one's rival. I guess she likes her. I mean, I can't really say that just based on, you know, one blushing face. But, you know, usually it's pretty easy to tell in anime games like this. I head down to the first floor in the atrium entrance escalator. Man, this place looks like a dump. The military police headquarters is located in the old Tokyo government office building in Shinjuku. In the frozen city of Tokyo, the greater an organization's supply of heat, the greater its authority. This whole setting definitely reminds me a lot of Meteor World Actor, but, you know, with sci-fi instead of magic. So far, I'm really digging the... the setting. Before me, twin towers jut up amid a mass of hot pipes, serving as an undeniable reminder that the military police rules the city. An AMV-89 Vulture. A tilt-rotor gunship used by the military police. The propeller is capable of shifting its angle, allowing the Vulture to act as both a fixed-wing aircraft and a rotary-wing aircraft. One of the few aircraft capable of withstanding Tokyo's fierce updrafts. Really? A tilt-rotor gunship takes off from the rooftop heliport, defying the updraft. I can't help but feel they're looking down on us.
要素
待たせてごめん。
いつものことだろ。
Etika's leaning against a wall at the entrance. She always waits outside, even though it's warmer indoors. Her distaste of her father and his workplace is simply that strong. At the same time, she's attached enough to Major Aso, a sort of older sister figure to her, that she finds herself at the HQ time and time again. Complicated family situation to say the least.
エチカは阿蘇少佐が相手。
ちょろいぜ。そっちはカズマの割には早かったな。
相変わらず横暴だったけどね。
言ったか？
まさか、そっちは。
白切っといた。早く合わせろよ、そのお姫様。
I'm guessing we asked her to lie. I don't see why we need to lie though.
お姫様って。
王子様のキスで目覚めたんだろ。
ない。
I choose not to humor Ethica.
でもさ、かばったのは別に X ブレインの指示じゃないだろ。
私は宝行イリア。お顔は忘れちゃった。
I can vividly recall our meeting in those snow-covered ruins. She was wearing a hooded fur jacket on top of a t-shirt, with a character from an old cartoon series printed on it. Her attire did not conceal her abundant curves. Thanks for that detail, Soen. I don't think I need to know that. Somehow, she seemed out of place, here in the Tokyo 2199. So you're telling me she might be a time traveler? Almost as if she came from another world.
そう？
Hearing her call my name made my heart leap.
起こしてもらっていいかな？
あ、
I have offered Iria my hand. Her delicate fingers wrapped around my own, and I could feel the warmth of her body through them.
手大きいね。
君のは小さい。
そうかな。
With my assistance, Iria rose to her feet. After getting her bearings, she took the mittens attached to her sleeves and fitted them onto each hand, proudly holding them forth when she was done.
大きくなったよ。
Okay, she's definitely, the Genki girl. Iria let loose a playful roar. She did resemble a bear cub. I found myself laughing. It was a strange feeling. Not minutes before, I had taken a man's life, and yet it felt like it was all in the distant past.
ソン、エチカ、軍警察のお出ましだ。
わかった。
ちぇ、また時高はとんずらかよ。
仕方ないだろう。死体の確保があるんだし。
A great chameleon. Striders used by the military police, coated with a dynamic camouflage texture that automatically shifts to match its environment. As they are mostly used within the city limits, they rarely adopt any color other than a dull gray, hence the name. Siren began approaching from the distance. Ethica and I were going to have to go in for questioning. I looked back over the area.
君はどうしてここにいたのかわからない。
記憶喪失ってやつかも。何も思い出せないんだ。
There is also a chance that she's lying.
そうか。
It would have been cruel to force her into an uninformed decision. I decided to do what I could for her, without consulting my ex-brain about it.
今、ここに軍警察がやってきてる。もしかしたら君の力になってくれるかもしれないし、そうじゃないかもしれない。でも奴らは横暴だ。
そうなの？
あ、僕はいつも取り調べ室で殴られてる。
それは嫌だな。
She would likely find it more than simply unpleasant.
もしよかったら、僕たちの事務所に来るかい？
いいの？
もちろん。
I contacted Tokitaka. He was currently driving the agency car, and would be able to get here quickly.
時高、悪いけど一人ピックアップしてもらえるか？
ピックアップ？
よろしくお願いし
おい、そう、今なんかそっちから美少女の声がしたぞ。
なんであの時、音声だけで美少女だって分かったんだ？
そりゃお前、私は違いの分かる女だからさ。声を聞けば一発だっての。
Whatever you say, Ethica.
っていうか拾ったの、本当に美少女なのか？
I nod. I'm not one to obsess over appearances, but she's definitely someone most would consider attractive.
珍しいな。そうも思わず助けちまうくらいの美少女。
別に魅力的だから助けたってわけじゃない。
I'm hearing footsteps. Not sure if the footsteps are going to us or not. Or maybe it's just background noise.
どうだかね。ああ、早く会いたいな。記憶喪失のイリアちゃんだっけ？
名前は覚えてたみたいだよ。宝行イリア。
宝行？
Ethica tilts her head. Does that name ring a bell?
Yahoo!
Oh, there we go. No wonder I was hearing footsteps. You guys probably don't hear it. It was super, like, super quiet. I turn around only to be met by Hogyo Iria herself.
なんでこんなところに？
Sorry, I was paying attention to what she's wearing. So she's wearing a hoodie, and then she's wearing a skirt, and then she's wearing a t-shirt, and then I think she's, I don't know, is that like a garter belt? I don't know.
涼子が病院に行けって言ったから。
涼子さんが。
あら、ここにいたのね。
Oh, hello there. Biggest boop so far. Kara Suzumi Ryoko appears from behind Iria. Head of the Kara Suzumi Living Death Stalker Agency, married to Kara Suzumi Katsu until his untimely death, has yet to remarry, perhaps a little too sexy for her own good, known to lounge about the agency clad only in underwear. She's the head of the Kara Suzumi Living Death Stalker Agency, our boss. Don't be misled by her appearance and comportment. The hell's that mean? She's incredibly skilled in her line of work. And her line of work includes managing 3 living dead stalkers, collecting information on necromancers, and making sure we each get our fair share of the bounty when we eliminate one. So, management. She's the backbone of the Kara Suzumi Living Dead Stalker Agency, in every sense of the word.
私たちもちょうど検査から戻ってきたところ。
Right next to this building is the old Tokyo Metropolitan Main Building No. 2, which serve as a hospital under the military police's management. A medical facility attached to the military police headquarters, possesses some of the most advanced medical equipment and technology in all of Japan. Premium taxpayers are given top priority in treatment. With the exception of Tokyo Megafloat, it's the most advanced medical facility in the area. Refers to both the artificial island in Tokyo Bay owned by the Empire Energy Corp and the city building technology used in its creation. Protected by the advanced Aegis system and cut off from the outside world, its inhabitants are known as the Energy Elite. So a group of very rich people, eh? But if they were able to get her examined at a hospital, then that means...
ID が分かったんですか？
私のコネクションで。彼女の素性については検査の結果も含めてミーティングで話しましょう。
Her voice seems way too old compared to what she looks like.
分かりました。
Ryoko's specialty is the collection and analysis of information. She possesses a wide network of connections. She should have been able to trace Hogyo Iria's identity to some extent. Just how much, I'll need to confirm later.
あなたがイリアちゃんだよね。噂通りの美少女だ。
え？噂？
ああ、ソウンが言ってた。
そうなの？
I nod. No sense in lying.
そう思ってたんだ。美少女！悪くない響き。
I mean, you're certainly cute, but your personality is a bit, off-putting, at least to me.
お、認めた。で、
君は？
私は木場野原エチカ、ソウンの同僚。一緒にリビングデッドストーカーをやってる。好きなものは美少女で、趣味は美少女で、好きな女性のタイプは美少女で、弱点は美少女。よろしくね。
君、モテるでしょ。
えへへ、わかる？でもね、私のハートは超広いよ。イリアちゃんがよかったら、私もいつでもウェルカムだから。
口説かれちゃった。
Looks like Ethica is really hitting it off with Iria. I just hope she doesn't take things too far. Are we gonna get a scene? You know? I saw like a bathing scene there. I'd like to take things a bit further with Iria, if you catch my drift. Oh, where we must be in Ethica's perspective. That's the main thing on my mind as we accompany Iria back to the office. Both Soen and Ryoko seem to be aware of how vulnerable our charge is. We didn't discuss things ahead of time, but we've assumed a sort of formation around Iria, so that we can protect her if need be. Soen and I are martial arts experts, and Ryoko is quite a bit stronger than your average civilian herself. But you can still never be too careful in 2199 Tokyo. I really like the animations in this game. Like I said in a previous episode, I wasn't expecting such budget. I don't know if it's actually a lot cheaper to make those, like 3D animations, but I think most VN should actually have more of those than just still CGs. As soon as you pass beneath the tracks of the old Yamanote line, now outfitted with primary pipes, into the eastern side of town, the city reveals a completely different side of itself. Welcome to Kabuki-cho, the entertainment center of Tokyo. We're greeted by the dazzling lights of countless vapor hologram signboards, powered by the hot pipes that run all across town. A pseudo-hologram produced by projecting light onto steam emitted from hot pipes. Cheap to realize, most holograms seen in daily life in Tokyo are vapor holograms. I see, so basically those signboard things. Steam seeps out from drainage pipes, diffusing the city lights and creating a sort of lens flare effect. The air is damp, possessed of a slightly rotten stench. Add to that the clouds of perfume hanging about the ladies of the night, and the fumes of alcohol wafting from so many drunkards, and you have the terribly distinct scent of Kabuki-cho.
Hi, そこのお姉さん、遊んでかない?
This is again a new sprite. Damn, this game. I keep saying this, but this game has a insane budget. I don't know if that's true or not, but so far, I feel like it. Living here means you can't go a single day without someone offering their services to you. A thick coat on top of a micro bikini is an odd match, to say the least, but somehow appropriate for the streets of Tokyo, where hot pipes just barely keep the cold at bay.
残念だけど立て込んでんの。
それじゃあそっちのお嬢ちゃんでも OK だよ。私ちょっと新宿は初めて。私が裏の裏まで教えてあげるから。気持ちは嬉しいんだけど。
残念だけどこの子を男の毒牙にかけるわけにはいかないの。ほんじゃあね。
I shoo away the pushy prostitute with a smile.
ねえ、今の男の人なの？
そう、見た目は作ろっても、私には匂いでわかるんだよ。
What the fuck? That's a guy? Oh my god. The future looks very bad for, you know. I mean, for someone like me who's not really into guys, I don't want to get trapped.
ありゃ戦争であれが役立たずになってしょうがないから性転換して稼いでるってタイプだね。
What the fuck?
そこまでわかるの？
イリア、多分適当だから。
Oh, okay. Thanks, Soen. Fuck you, Ethica. Cheh, way to spoil the fun, Soen. But the fact that such random conjecture is even plausible is a testament to how rowdy this town has become. After the Sino-American War left them without a home, the private military company, PMC, Eclipse, hired ex-US Army ruffians as mercenaries. An American PMC with its headquarters located in Ueno acts as a mercenary group in Tokyo, primarily staffed by former soldiers in the US Army. Private military company, hey? Upholding Shinjuku's long history of drug trafficking, the Tetra Dragon's Chinese mafia boasts a wide network of narcotics trade. A Chinese mafia conglomerate based in Shibuya, made up of 4 different mafia groups doing business in Tokyo. Now this is reminding me of Yakuza. In the post-war turmoil, the self-proclaimed Russian government occupied the Northeast. Exerts great influence in Japanese affairs ever since the reoccupation of Japan during the Sino-American War. While they call themselves the Russian government, they are not actually in close contact with their motherland. A more accurate description would be a Russian mafia operating in Japan. Specializes in information warfare utilizing the mesh network, just as the KGB specialized in more primitive forms of information warfare. KGB? Despite being nothing more than a mafia group, their decades of experience in information warfare have proven invaluable in affording them great influence on the Japanese government. One of the newer players is a ruthless Malacca gang, who escaped to the north to seek refuge from Mare. Mare? I don't know. The worst infectious disease in history. Originally a pirate organization in the Strait of Malacca, before being driven to Tokyo by the Mare pandemic. Currently a criminal organization active around Ikebukuro and the area west of Shinjuku, known for being continually engaged in gang warfare. As Malacca was where necromancy originated during the latter half of the Sino-American War, the Malacca gang counts many necromancers among its ranks. I see. So they're still like implementing stuff that's originally in Japan. I believe Ikebukuro was places where gangs used to fight each other too for, you know, I guess gangs don't really fight for, what is it, like a turf war? That's more so a Yakuza thing. I don't know why gangs actually fight. Not really knowledgeable in that area. Full name, Microbial Augmentation Repeated Element, an airborne infectious disease which originated in Malaysia in 2185, quickly giving rise to the worst pandemic in all of human history. A mutated form of the RU-318. I guess RU-318 is better. Bacterial weapon used by the US Army against the People's Liberation Army in Malaysia. More resilient to air and radiation than RU-318, and capable of remaining dormant in soil indefinitely by producing spores. Produces toxic ruthenium compounds via induced synthesis upon entering the human body, with a mortality rate of over 90%. Due to Mare's spread, it became essentially impossible for humans to occupy any region with an average temperature of greater than 10 degrees Celsius. This is really a deadly virus. World powers were forced to withdraw from the equator, I don't know how you say that, retreating back into colder territories. In other words, the Mare pandemic led directly to the end of the Sino-American War. I guess it's not really a virus, it's, like I said, it's a microbial. I guess it's from a spore, right? Yeah, producing spores. So not really a virus. Inspired by the rise of necromancy, the suicide wannabes are a violent cult that preaches humanity's acceptance of death. The Japanese Yakuza responded to these groups in turn, trading their tattoos for cybernetic enhancements. And finally, we have the leading actors of the conflict, the necromancers, those dreaded progeny of the war, who reanimate and control corpses. As new criminal organizations blossom in the wake of the war, the rate of violent crime increased too quickly for existing law enforcement agencies to keep up with. The city had no choice but to task the protection of public order to the newly militarized military police. That about sums up what's happening behind the scenes here in Kabukicho, Shinjuku, Tokyo. But
ねえねえ、すごいパイプだね。
そうかな。僕らは見慣れてるから。
まるで SF だ。
SF？
少し不思議。
Iria doesn't exactly fit in. Yeah, she's probably either a time traveler or just like what Son said, she came from a different universe. I know she's suffering from amnesia, but would that really make something as mundane as hot pipes such a source of excitement? They're just part of daily life for us, for better or worse. We arrive at the Kara Suzumi Living Dead Stalker Agency. To the right of us is a gay adult shop, and to the left of us is a multi-tenant building with a coffee shop and a gun store. In other words, just another corner of Shinjuku Nichome. Our building blends in inconspicuously.
ここが仕事場？
仕事場ってだけじゃなく住んでるんだぜ。
へえ。エキサイティングだね。
超エキサイティングだぜ。イリアちゃんも一緒住む？
エキサイティングだぜ。
Iria really knows how to pick up on a vibe. She's weird, man. I don't know if it's a good thing or not yet, but she's interesting. I can say that. At this rate, I might actually fall for her.
それじゃあ涼子さん、僕はここで。
As we approach the building, Soen breaks away from the group, making his way toward the parking lot.
コンスーちゃんのところね。気をつけて。
Ryoko responds with a nod. Owner of the Frozen Nirvana, a junk shop located in the hyper ghetto, a highly skilled hacker, her true face is that of an information broker. Frequently does business with the Kara Suzumi Living Dead Stalker Agency, a complete shut-in who never leaves her store.
コンスーって誰？
I think Soen briefly mentions her. I think that was the girl who gave the printer thing for Soen's gun.
僕たちの頼もしい協力者。僕はこれからリビングデッドの資料解析をしなきゃならない。
The process of analyzing a living dead's brain in order to determine which necromancer created it. As necromancy is an art, not a science, it's possible to distinguish quirks particular to a given necromancer or school with close study.
資料解析。
リビングデッドの体を分析して、どんなネクロマンサーがどんな技術で作ったのかを調べること。簡単に言えば死体の死体解剖かな。
解剖？
Iria draws back a bit. That's about the response I'd expect from the average person. Living dead autopsies, pretty grisly stuff. Can't say I'm a fan myself. As for Soen, well, it doesn't look like he really feels anything about them, one way or the other. I give the bewildered Iria a reassuring pat on the shoulder.
ま、これもソウンのお仕事だから。私たちは家で待ってましょう。
そう。気をつけてね。
ありがとう。
Soen disappears into the parking lot behind the office. Ryoko unlocks the office door and we head inside. This is Tokitaka? Damn! You have a very, like, tight skin suit. Tokitaka greets us at the entrance, prompting a scream from Iria. She leans her entire upper body back, as if she wants to get as far away from Tokitaka as possible. Allow me to introduce Ichihara Tokitaka, the final member of our organization. He's also a living dead stalker, and let me tell you, you don't want to get on the bad side of his Ogasawara TFD-20. To be frank, he's a bit of an oddball, but not in the same way as Soen.
時田か？あんたなんかしたの？
俺がするわけないだろう。
したよ。セクハ
はあ？セクハラ？
アホか。こんなチビに興奮するわけ。
ラしたよ。私の胸をじーっと見ながら、お前の
What
胸
the
には
fuck?
シャノバビッチ数が隠れているなとか言うんだよ。
フィボナッチ数だ。
どっちでもいいし。
よくない。
セクハラ。キモい。最低。
Fibonacci numbers? What is that? I feel like I've heard of the name before. Must be something I studied before.
しねえ。
便乗すんな。
まあまあ、 そこが時高くんの可愛いところだし。
I guess that's a sequence of numbers, right, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, though.
ありがとうございます、涼子さん。
She ain't complimenting you, bud. On the bright side, at least now Iria has a handle of it on exactly what sort of pervert Tokitaka is. I like to call Tokitaka and Son the bungling boys. They've got absolutely no idea how to interact with women. An august designation granted by Kibanohara Ethica, referring to the lovable dumbasses at the Kara Suzumi Living Dead Agency who completely fail to understand even the slightest thing about a woman's heart. Bungling dumbass number 1 is Nagaoka Son, with number 2 being Ichihara Tokitaka. 50% of this damn agency is composed of bungling idiots. I'm not good at math, but even I can tell that those are some concerning numbers. As a result, little old Ethica has got to be charismatic enough to compensate for the two of them. I think that's what we call QED. What's that?
じゃシャワー浴びてきます。
いつか行かないで。
俺と一緒が不服か？
変態と一緒にしないで。
変態じゃないっての。
犯される。
I mean, with how you're dressed, Tokitaka, you might as well be called a hentai dude.
お前を計算してやろうか。
Yup, getting along swimmingly, these two. It ain't easy being a living dead stalker. Yeah, I'm guessing this is what I saw on the loading screen. I'm actually gonna turn the sound a tiny bit. For me, personally, I feel like it's actually quite low. Don't know about you guys, but I actually do feel it's a bit low. I think that's good. I'm not sure you can really understand this without experiencing it for yourself, but human corpses can get pretty nasty if left alone. As a rule, human society is averse to death, doing everything it can to push it away and conceal it. And honestly, I get why. The worst part's gotta be the smell. Low-level ghouls, the ones created simply by injecting dead bodies with lemurs, start rotting pretty quickly. We living dead stalkers are tasked with re-killing the living dead, and we get showered in bits and pieces of dead bodies in the process. Fortunately, the ones we dealt with today were still pretty fresh, but more than a few times I had some gooey ones come in for a kiss as they started collapsing in on themselves. There have been a few technological advancements to help counteract things. For example, nowadays we have these things called nano-refreshers, which can shut out any smell completely. Apparently they work by blocking all molecules of a certain size. A hyper-advanced air freshener which uses nanoparticles to block out the molecules responsible for causing us to perceive smells entirely. But for some reason, the stench of death still gets through. Or at least, that's what it feels like. My guess is that there's something more at play than just the physical molecules, you know? So we've made it a rule to take a shower after returning from a job. There's 3 shower booths installed in the office, so everyone has their own space.
エチカちゃん、お疲れ様。
どうもお疲れ様。
Yeah, this has gotta be the CG that I saw. Ryuko likes to keep things clean. She's probably here to take a shower before preparing dinner since she was just outside. I hear hot water spray out from the shower head in the next booth over. Hot water vapor circulates through the city several times before finally being used as residential water in various households. You can't afford to let even the tiniest amount of energy go to waste in the city. The two of us chat as we shower.
いい子だね、イリアちゃん。
エチカちゃんもそう思う？
もちろん、あんな美少女めったにいないよ。なんだろうな。彼女が笑うとこっちも楽しくなってくる感じ。ソーンがかくまおうとか言い出して、最初は何事かと思ったけど、あれなら納得だね。
不思議な魅力を持った子よね。不思議ね。
Ryuko's comment is a bit vague. Perhaps the results of her investigation into area weren't exactly favorable. Our work is a life and death struggle. We're always in danger of being targeted by the mafia, gangs, necromancers, and other miscellaneous scum of the earth. We try to avoid anything that might invite danger unless there's no other choice. If we can't be certain that something is safe, we simply avoid it entirely. That's the secret to surviving in this world.
イリアちゃんを疑ってるの？
残念だけどそれが仕事だからね。
でも助けてあげたい。
I feel compelled to speak on Ryoko's behalf. As the head of the Kara Suzumi Living Death Stalker Agency, she's beholden to her duty to protect her employees, but I know she doesn't want to just leave Iria out in the cold. Obviously, she could always hand Iria over to the military police and explain the situation. She's got nothing to lose if she does. Most citizens of Tokyo wouldn't think twice about doing just that. But if Ryoko isn't like most citizens, if she were, then none of us would be working for her. I'm guessing that's supposed to be, but Ryoko isn't like most citizens. The if doesn't make sense there.
毎日危険を背負ってるってことくらい覚悟の上さ。ボスの決定に従うよ。
エスカち
Ryoko sighs on the other side of the wall. Oh, she's not done talking. Sorry about that.
私たちは涼子さんに全部預けてる。かくまおうと突き出そうと。涼子さんの判断なら地獄の底まで付き合っちゃうかんね。
I mean, you guys probably do, but I don't. And if there's a choice to trust Ryoko or not right now, I probably would choose to not trust her.
ゃんありがとう。ごめんね。心配かけちゃった。
Ryoko whispers to me from behind, having entered the same shower booth. I actually thought Etika was the one that's gonna, make the move on Ryoko, but color me surprised. Obviously, I don't kick her out. This too is business as usual. So, is this gonna be Patreon exclusive already? Sorry, YouTube. Patreon.com/Azaikyousuke. But this is as far as we go. Alright, I guess we're back, YouTube. You missed a bit of a scene there with Ryoko and, Etika. But nothing too bad.
さて、時高とイリアちゃん、いつまでも二人きりにはできないからね。
そうね。
Why is Etika the one that's stopping? I'm quite curious about their relationship for sure. For a second, a shadow of frustration plays across Ryoko's face, but she quickly composes herself and nods, smiling. I smile back, making sure to play it cool, but deep down, I'm so thirsty. I'm gonna go crazy. I return to my room and sit down in my chair. I adjust the air conditioning with multi-flick gestures so I can start getting my hair dry. As I wait, I gaze at my fish tank and space out. Tropical fish drift in the rippling red water. As soon as I get close to the tank, they all gather at the surface. Okay, I'll give you what you came for. When I drop a pinch of food in, the fish begin to dance, competing to snag the flakes flitting around them. That's it. That's it. Eat. Eat. If I bluntly and firmly ask Ryoko to let me have sex with her, she probably would. But I don't want that. Ryoko doesn't particularly like having sex with women. And I'd rather not do it with someone not totally into it. The reason she approaches me in the shower is to fill the void left by her deceased husband, Kara Suzumi Ikatsu. A former Living Death stalker and member of the Close Quarters Armed Martial Arts Training Unit, died 2.5 years ago, leaving behind Kara Suzumi Ryoko as his widow, Nagaoka Son and Ichihara Tokitaka's personal god. Personal god? responsible for teaching them CQAMA, a vitally important figure in Kibanohara Ethica's life as well. His demeanor could be best described as rowdy. He had a penchant for arm locks and other types of grappling maneuvers. Ryoko is someone very special to me. I can't bring myself to take advantage of her. But maybe one day, she'll feel whole again. Don't worry, you guys on YouTube didn't miss much. It was probably maybe a 5-minute to 6-minute scene. My car arrives at the town formerly known as Akihabara. Apparently, this area was once known as the world's premier subculture hotspot, revered by media enthusiasts the world over. But you wouldn't know it by looking at it now. Akihabara was once a town of electronics and otaku, but once Japan became a battleground in the First Sino-American War, the Chinese mafia made their way from the world's factory and rose to power in Shibuya, turning Akihabara into a ghost town. A Chinatown serving as an entertainment district. As the Chinese mafia rules the area, it's one of the safer parts of Tokyo. The place to go if you want to find electronic signal drugs. I guess that's their cocaine. And after the war, groups of refugees rushed to occupy it. If we look at other areas like Ikebukuro, ruled by the Malacca Gang, home to the violent Malacca Gang, one of the most dangerous areas in Tokyo, with frequent gang warfare and necromancer activity. Hot pipes in the area are damaged more quickly than they can be repaired, meaning heat is in short supply. Or Shinjuku, which is under the military police's jurisdiction, there's at least a basic sort of order, even if it would be wrong to say that they are orderly. The governing organizations do possess a certain degree of authority. Those in power are in a position to arbitrate disputes and keep things in check in the event of major trouble arising. Akihabara, on the other hand, remain in a state of complete disarray in the wake of the war, governed only by chaos. Its decay was only accelerated by the problem of extending the hot pipes. The hot pipes stretched around Tokyo using the old Yamanote line as a backbone. From Shibuya to Shinjuku, and upon reaching Ueno, the biggest shopping district in all of Asia, ruled over by the Eclipse Corp, safe compared to much of Tokyo, with a wide variety of storefronts doing business in and around Amehoko. Actually, I have never heard of Amehoko. The hot pipes sharply veer to the east using the old Ginza subway line. In the year 2151, the governor of Tokyo proposed a special post-war recovery program called the Asakusa Reconstruction Plan. A cultural revitalization project instituted by the governor of Tokyo in 2151, intended to establish Asakusa as the new face of Tokyo. As part of the project, Kaminarimon was rebuilt into the Cyber Kaminarimon, alongside the construction of Neo-Ryon-Kaku. Is that the temple in Asakusa? There's a big temple in Asakusa, is that what it's called? The goal was a restoration of culture. Shinjuku had been serving as the capital city, but due to the decline of public order, the plan proposed to designate Asakusa as the new center of Tokyo, as it had the added benefit of being a potential tourist attraction. Thanks to the new capital center, Neo-Ryon-Kaku, constructed in Asakusa as part of the Asakusa Reconstruction Plan, to provide a new home for the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly. Based on the Ryon-Kaku, Japan's first skyscraper, which was erected in Asakusa in 1980 and stood until being destroyed by the Great Kanto earthquake in 1923, currently functions as a Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building. Okay, so it's not the temple. Interesting. And its symbol, Cyber Kaminarimon, Asakusa prospered and is known today as Tokyo's preeminent upper-class residential district. The gate of Sensoji Temple. Ah, there we go. Sensoji Temple is the temple I'm talking about. Located in Asakusa, considered a cultural landmark by the Tokyo government, originally simply known as the Kaminarimon. After being damaged during the Sino-American War, it was rebuilt into its current form as part of the Asakusa Reconstruction Plan, one of the most popular tourist attractions in Tokyo. This left Akihabara in a precarious position. To the east was the Yakuza. To the west was the ex-US Army. And to the south was the Russian government, each glaring at each other across the buffer zone. Thanks to the Asakusa Reconstruction Plan, over half the heat allotted to its citizen was stolen from them, and without any organized resistance on their part. Today, Akihabara is desolate, save for the few eccentrics dedicated enough to stay there. They scrounge up what little heat they can, surviving day by day as they chase the fading dream of the electric town of the East. Akihabara has become a place where only the strong survive, a silent, frozen den of disarray and disorder. It's known as the Hyper Ghetto, a slang term for the area formerly known as Akihabara. Stripped of its hot pipes during the Asakusa Reconstruction Plan, it is one of the few districts along the Yamanote line covered in snow and ice. A lawless territory ruled by no particular group. It acts as sort of a buffer zone for the various factions vying for dominance of Tokyo. Those who brave its deadly streets may just find goods and services that make it worth their while. Yeah, there's still a shit ton of info dumps in these upcoming episodes. In the middle of the hyper ghetto, underneath a hot pipe nearly depleted of heat, there's a small door. There's no signage of any sort, but this is a members-only junk shop. They mainly sell antique parts for enthusiasts, but they also offer other services, such as maintenance for cybernetics. This shop is my destination. I undergo fingerprint verification, iris verification, and gait analysis. I must also provide ID and papyrus. Isn't that like a tree bark or something? Once I pass through all of those security layers, the blast-resistant doors finally open. What first greets me is a salty smell drifting throughout the entire room. Yakisoba? Nice there. 573 calories. That's about how much I eat for my instant noodles. The source is probably the empty container of Peiyungo brand instant yakisoba scattered about the room. A popular brand of instant yakisoba. Part of the appeal is that it requires straining and dumping the water yourself. Make sure not to let the noodles fly out of the sieve in the process. The next thing that gets me is the hot air. The stark contrast from the chill of the hyper ghetto is enough to make me slightly dizzy. The source of the heat is quite obvious. A veritable mountain of cables and CRT monitors crowds the room. The CRTs are thick enough for a child to hide inside. It's apparent that the owner is a connoisseur of antique hardware. I find it hard to believe that there was ever a time when people had to rely on these huge, heavy boxes to acquire information. Cords creep across the floor and over tables, making navigating the room a struggle. Being charitable, the aesthetic is very retro. If the hyper ghetto was left behind by society, then the store I'm in now was left behind by time itself. Welcome to Frozen Nirvana. A members-only junk shop located in the hyper ghetto run by Kansu. While the store does sell vintage hardware, its true purpose is to provide support to the living dead stalkers. The shopkeeper is, as you'd expect, an eccentric. I think she looks more than just an eccentric. Before me, a young woman sits in front of the giant antique CRT display, too focused and clacking away at a physical keyboard to even notice she's drooling. Meet the owner of this store, Kansu. She's hardly the picture of vim and vigor, of slight, Nigh emaciated, build, and with pale white skin. Sometimes I wonder if the shop's name, Frozen Nirvana, comes from the color of her skin. Her eyes glimmer in the light of the CRTs, wholly focused on her task. Like those of a predator stalking its prey. In the same way that I make a living killing the living dead in Tokyo, Kansu works in the digital realm. Wiping away her saliva would only serve to distract her. I remain quiet, waiting for her consciousness to return to reality. You see, the micro portable printer, MPP, I carry is something she made. Yeah, see? I knew it. He briefly mentioned it. A portable printer is not exactly something you'll find in the average storefront, and neither are the pallets I use to produce specialty bullets. Fortunately, I have Kansu. But she's perhaps less of an engineer and more of an old-school hacker. After all, her teacher was none other than the legendary designer come architect of the current mesh network. Apparently, so great was their distaste of government restrictions on existing communications networks during the first Sino-American War that they simply designed their own. I don't know if I really buy that story, but at the very least, I trust in Kansu's training and skills. Incidentally, it's because of the teacher's influence that she's so enamored with antique devices, such as the physical keyboard she's using right now. It seems she values the explicit, willful input associated with physical keys over the more modern brainwave interface. Her fingers dance across the keyboard too fast for the eye to see, producing an incessant series of staccato clacking sounds. Taking a closer look, I can see that her keyboard is covered in saliva. It's kinda gross. She's been at this for some time. I am in awe of her concentration.
Yeah.
そういつの間に
さっき来たばっかり。
そう
よだれが出てるよ。
Damn it, she also talks very slowly like Ryoko. Gotta make sure not to click too fast. Kansu wipes her mouth with a nearby towel. She doesn't make eye contact with me throughout the entire exchange, but that's simply how she is. I understand.
ペレットの補充それとも解剖に来たの
どっちもだ。プリンター、ありがとう。タン・ユンシャンを倒せたのも君のおかげだ。
役に立てたら嬉しい。
Her personality kind of changes when she, talks. Because when she was focusing on the keyboard, seems like she was, kind of zoning out. Printers are heavily regulated by law, so normally it's quite difficult to get your hands on an MPP. I cannot thank Kansu enough for all the tightrope she's had to walk across to prepare this thing for me. There's a perfect synergy between my X-Brain, which can read and react to my opponent's fighting style, and my MPP, which can output various bullets to fit the situation. Yesterday's battle was the MPP's grand debut, but its effectiveness exceeded all expectations.
下に行ってもいいかな。
報酬は後でもらう。
わかった。後払いで。
I follow Kansu downstairs to the basement. The basement of Frozen Nirvana is a torture chamber. A wide variety of torture devices and S&M goods line the bare concrete walls. And right in the middle is a surgical chair. All in accordance with the proclivities of the shopkeeper. That is Kansu. Normally, she's the one in the chair, but... Sitting in the chair today is the receptionist from Endless Summer. Before the military police arrived, I had Tokitaka pick him up for me and take him here in the office car. His arms and legs are bound to the chair. His head is also held firmly in place. There are still shards of the door stuck in his chest.
私が何をしたって言うんですか。 女の子紹介しますから。とびっきりの非合法でもなんだったら特別な手でザ・フォートレスのセクサロイドだって。だから命だけは。
Without a word, I take out a laser scalpel and place it against the man's neck. I make a clean incision in his throat, opening a hole in his trachea. There's no hemorrhaging due to the laser cauterization, but the blood that does ooze out is dusky red, the color of the dead.
残念だけど、君はもう死んでるんだ。
His vocal cords can't resonate if there's an incision in his trachea. I could be rougher with him, but the closer they are to how they were when they were alive, the easier it is to analyze them.
コンス、準備は？
いつでも OK。
Her breathing seems more ragged than usual. Commence necroanalysis. First, I want to measure his brainwaves. I adjust the laser scalpel. I guess this Kansu girl is just a pervert. The scalpel I'm using is equipped with an internal fuel cell. It may be small, but it has a high power output, and the length of the laser can be adjusted to accommodate whatever you want to cut. It can easily make cranial incisions without harming the brain at all. I approach the bound man, take the scalpel, and...
なあ、コンス。彼って誰かに似てないかな？
クリストファー・キンスキー。
Who the fuck is that? Right. Kansu often invites me over to watch old movies. Classic 20th century stuff. From before immersive films were the standard. You could call her my mentor when it comes to cinema. Now that I know which actor he reminds me of, we can get down to business. The receptionist desperately thrashes his arms and legs. We need him as fresh as possible, so I ignore him and continue working. When the high-temperature scalpel cuts into his scalp, the skin peels off like a mask, hair and all, revealing the normally hidden facial muscles. The temporal muscles will just get in the way later, so I turn them off too. And thus, his clean skull is exposed. The laser scalpel easily carves a line through the circumference of his skull. Once that line has circumnavigated the skull, I pry it open with a chisel. The line widens into a gap. I take off the upper half of his skull as if removing a hat. The meninges, is that how you say that? Audibly squelch as they tear away, revealing the brain as green matter spills onto the floor. I take out a bundle of needles. They're roughly 5 centimeters long and extremely thin, tipped with brainwave monitoring probes containing holographic cubes. I begin to insert them into the living dead's brain. 1, 2, 3, 4. I slide them in with skillful precision. 20 needles are enough to cover just about every major part of the brain. With this, I can record the movement of neurotransmitters as well as the electrical potential fluctuations in the dendrites of cerebral cortical neurons.
耳にも。
そうだね。
I insert needles into his ears too. The ears have relatively little electric activity, so they're convenient to use for reference electrodes. The equipment quickly picks up the living dead's brainwaves. Kansu looks at the operating table monitor.
順調。海馬、官能の動きが生きている人間に比べて極端に鈍い。
Hippocampus, I believe, is the part that is stimulating your emotions. I don't know what the diencephalon is. I've heard of it, but it's been a while since I've, learned my brain biology.
その代わり、 小脳や脳幹の活動は活発。
それって
典型的なリビングデッドの脳活動。
The living dead feel no emotions. When necromancy first emerged, it was met with excitement the world over. It was thought that humanity had finally achieved its long-cherished dream of immortality. Living dead were captured from the battlefield and taken to universities for study, in hopes of reverse engineering the process. But as time passed, mankind's excitement faded. Living dead suffer a deterioration of emotions. In the case of lo-fi living dead who are only administered lemurs, it takes only an hour. Even a top-class hi-fi living dead, the sort that requires an expert necromancer to create, will retain its emotions for no longer than 2 weeks. That's all it takes for human emotions to vanish. What's the point of being immortal if you lose your emotions, your humanity? But while the appeal of becoming a living dead died instantly, the appeal of creating a living dead didn't. After all, necromancers can freely control the living dead they create. If you preserve the body and install brain implants to mimic human emotions, you can create a living dead that's almost indistinguishable from a living human, as far as appearances go.
急ごしらえで体は傷んでるけど、感情反応の基本的な筋は悪くない。タンユンシャンって人、なかなかいいネクロマンサー。
ああ、そうだろうね。
I completely missed the fact that he was a corpse the first time I saw him. If my ex-brain didn't determine him to be a living dead by the color of the blood stuck to his gums, I don't know how things would have turned out. There are many differing schools of thought within the field of necromancy. The primary point of divergence is the compounding of lemurs, which is used to make living dead, a so-called fusion of the occult and nanomachines. The exact composition of the serum varies by necromancer. To create a high-grade living dead, you need the ability to both read and manipulate the inner workings of human emotion. You must be trained in the arts, so to speak. Indeed, necromancers take pupils and pass down their craft in a manner similar to many artists. You'll even find people who insist that necromancy is an art, and the living dead are artwork. Hence, we see cult-like groups such as the Suicide Wannabes, formed by those who have developed an almost religious fascination with necromancers. Due to these artistic idiosyncrasies, however, we can detect suspicious activity in brainwaves and internal organs. The analysis of such anomalies is what we call necroanalysis, an autopsy of the living dead. Next, let's check internal organ functionality. To open up the chest and abdomen, you first need to cut the ribcage. I start off by cutting away excess skin and muscle with the laser scalpel. Afterward, I cut the bones using rib shears. From the top, the first 7 ribs are true ribs that connect to the sternum, so I remove all of these at once. After I've removed ribs 8 through 10, almost all of the internal organs became visible. I insert electrodes into the major internal organs and check the bedside monitor. Sure enough, the equipment detects pseudo-vitals typical of living dead. I sever some thick blood vessels with a laser scalpel and take out the living dead's heart. The receptionist's breathing immediately slows down. Without his heart, his bodily functions will slacken, but he won't die. The only way to completely re-kill the living dead is to destroy their brains.
とりあえず、このくらいかな。
データが集まるにはどのくらい？
明日の午前中には なんとか。
A more detailed analysis will have to wait until then. I borrowed a shower room and washed away the filth of the autopsy. This is where I always perform necroanalysis, so it's almost a home away from home at this point. Once I've dried my hair, I return to the first floor to find Kansu slouching in front of her monitor like usual. I quietly turn away so as to not interrupt her work. No need for small talk.
そう。
She calls my name right as I'm leaving.
あ、気づいてたのか。ごめん。
It's not often she prolongs things.
女の子一人保護した。
知ってたのか。
事件の一部始終はリアルタイムでモニターしてた。後で涼子から問い合わせもあったし。
Ryoko handles people, while Kansu handles machines and data. Together, they form the rock-solid backbone of the Kara Suzumi Living Dead Stalker Agency.
どう思う？
可愛い子だったよ。
そうじゃない。そうじゃなくて、どうして保護したのかっていう不確定要素ばかり見捨てるのが危険味。
Are you done? I understand what Kansu is trying to say. I'm not even sure why I decided to take Iria in myself.
多分、彼女がとても魅力的だったんだと思う。そんなことをエチカが言ってた。
そう。
Kansu nods as if to keep further words at bay. Getting involved with Iria carries with it significant risks. Etika's explanation isn't going to cut it. Did I really do the right thing? Unable to offer a clear answer to Kansu's question, I leave Frozen Nirvana. And with that, I think this is a good time to end the episode. Wow, that's actually almost exactly an hour 30 minutes. You guys on YouTube didn't miss much, only the scene with Ryoko and Etika. Like I said, it was only like a 5-minute scene, so nothing really too serious, but they were getting it on for sure. So I can't show that on YouTube because that is actual sexual content, unlike just the simple slip of the human body that was on the previous episode. But alright, I think I'm gonna take a short break here. Give this video a like if you guys like it. Sub if you guys haven't. Patreon will be getting all these videos early access and, you know, those scenes uncensored if you guys truly want them. But so far, there's only like 5 minutes of content for the 8 scenes. But yeah, I'll take a short break. I will be playing this again, actually. I have not actually tried to troubleshoot Rants 4.1 yet, but I'm really interested in this game. I haven't really been like giving my thoughts too much on the story. That's mostly because I'm trying to read the story or, you know, the narrative quickly so that I can process what's going on. And I'm just very intrigued with the story so far. Yeah, there's a lot of info dumps, but it's all info dumps that I'm very interested in. So yeah, I will see you guys next week for YouTube. But for you guys on Patreon, this will be uploaded. Like the next episode will be uploaded in just like a matter of seconds. So see you guys next time. Peace out.